Scots Nation, welcome to Virtual Homecoming 2020. Coming home to Howie will be a little bit different this year. I'm Eric Etchison, and I serve the college and their student athletes as their Director of Athletic Communications. I want to remind you to follow your Fighting Scots at www.mcscots.com, via social media on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at MC Scots, or via YouTube at Scots Broadcasting. In late August, all sports on campus began a strategic implementation of socially distanced practice progressions. I sat down with a few coaches, asked them what type of changes they had to make, how they had to be more innovative in their practice approaches, and how their kids felt about getting back on their playing venues.
The number one thing that we want to do is create a genuine relationship with our players. And that takes time. There's a lot of moving pieces when you're going through fall camp and all of a sudden you blink and you're in game one, you blink, and then the season's over. So really what we have done is try to, take more time to learn more about them. I think life is always full of chaos, right? And I think the growth of an individual can only occur once the chaos happens. And how do you handle that? And how do you move forward from that? It is constant change. I think that you have to be willing to adjust and learn. And a lot of the skills that we all think that we may have, but we're not able to maybe teach those skills yet. But the patience and the willing to adapt to each other, that has been the biggest skill set for us. We've got an opportunity to grow and prepare. There's not a game, there's not a crowd, there's not a whistle. But that's not all football is, right? And I think that we're teaching them valuable lessons of investment. And when you invest in something this long, right, win, lose, or draw, you will become extremely durable. And you will fight for what you totally believe in, what you invested in. And that process is one of the biggest reasons I ever got into coaching. And so when the opportunity does come, you better be here, because our plan is to stand here on Victory Hill when it's over.
I think we're being creative, and I think what you're seeing is there's been a lot of pent-up energy from a summer of being locked in and not able to do a whole lot. And so it's been really good for them to be active again. I think the working out with PTI is always great because it brings some structure to the table for them. It gives them a real chance to move and get back after it, but it also begins to establish a culture for your program that you're in this thing together. And if we've learned anything from COVID at all, we have to be in it together. So I'm glad to see my kids in there doing that. We've got kids signing up for individual times to shoot the ball a little bit in the gym, which is great because we haven't been able to do that since March. And so I'm glad to see them in there shooting, moving, and just getting after it again. I think the big thing is you're cautiously optimistic because you're looking at dates and schedule changes and all that. And so they're excited to play basketball. That's the biggest thing is they just want to play again. And so we're trying to temper enthusiasm at the same time, build that up. And we're hopeful that we're going to start practice here in the middle of October and with the goal of playing games in January. And I know that they're dying to just get on the court and play again.
Nice. And since coming back on campus, the way the NCAA has worked out, we actually get to work with the girls more. And so we've been able to, starting last week, been able to work in more small groups, and I think that's really helped the development of our girls, getting just back here on the field, taking it easy, really just reminding them why they play this game and why they love this game. Right, we get to work with them more. They get more face time with Coach Robinson and myself with smaller groups and working with their hitting and then their fielding and really going back to the basics of softball. Right, as far as innovative ways, I try to not change things up too much. I think in a time like now, it's just trying to keep everything as normal as possible. So right now, like I said, we're working with them in small groups, doing our team dailies and trying to keep it as routine as possible. They're really upbeat. And I think this is the first time, Coach Robinson and I were just talking the other day, this is the first time we haven't really been nervous going into the season. You know, the freshmen have come in and done an outstanding job just being back into the game. We have 3 seniors coming back from last year, so it's been a really upbeat, positive atmosphere. So we're looking forward to continuing that throughout the fall. Oh my gosh, it gives me chill bumps just thinking about, you know, coming back and starting in February, and whatever that may look like. We're going to be out here and just love to play.
Well, you know, I think the most important thing throughout this, not just for soccer, but probably for everybody, is just to be able to change on the fly and make adjustments. And that's what we've tried to do. You know, we immediately had to move most of our drills that we use that were contact drills and competitive drills to drills that were non-contact. So we've had to do some experimentation and even had to make some adjustments down here in practice. But the kids have done really well with it. I think they're more than anything just excited to be on the field and kicking the ball around with their friends. It's really made us think through everything and made the kids think about you know, how they prepare themselves, you know, what they're doing in practice, and take a lot of ownership for that preparation. The individual groups have had to take ownership and have leadership within those individual groups. So I think one of the big positives I've seen is that it's promoted more opportunities for leadership. To see the kids come down here and participate on the field and to see how happy they're going to be is definitely going to be something I'm looking forward to.
No, it's been a challenging time to say the least, but I actually think this time's been beneficial. You know, we're required to be in smaller groups at this time, which has actually allowed us to have more attention for one-on-one training. They're just excited to be back on the field. I think that's the biggest thing, and the biggest takeaway that we've seen so far is, you know, you go 7 months without being on a field, not seeing each other. You know, they're just excited to see each other as much as they were just to be back on the field. So that's been one of the biggest positives, just to see truly how happy they are that they're back together with their teammates on the field. To really focus on their movement patterns, the things that are going to relate to on the field. You know, we're doing our workouts actually outside of a weight room right now, but it's been beneficial for coach to really teach those movements so they can progress when we're ready to get on the field as a team or when we're ready to get in the weight room.
It is absolutely very unique and very different. Imagining a fall without competing has been challenging for all of us, but we are taking every day as a new opportunity to work on fundamentals and being stronger just together and identifying service projects and just, you know, trying to plan for that day when we can actually compete. I think just being together has been a huge plus. Going virtual for months and through recruiting to missing the spring, you miss that being together. So I would say that the biggest plus has actually being able, even though it's small groups and we have not met as a whole team, but just being able to physically be together has been just the biggest bonus. We are being very creative. We're trying to keep everything in a bubble and everything stationary. So time will tell if we're being successful, but we are being creative. They're amazingly positive, and I think they're probably handling it better than us old coaches, but ultimately they just want to play. I've often said the competition part is the byproduct of doing things right, and same with winning. Winning is just the byproduct, and the focus has to be on giving your best. And right now, our best is in a closed, small group setting. So knowing that there's going to be a day when we can return to competition and there can be fans in the stands is something that we are all very, very hopeful, and it will be a bright, wonderful day.
Just really excited about starting our training with Jared Lawrence and PTI training. Our guys have been looking forward to getting bigger, stronger, and faster as the season approaches here in January. We'll continue to work on our fundamentals in the gym and taking it day by day so we can be ready for, God willing, our season come the new year in 2021. Look forward to our guys continuing to work, and go Scots.
Good, Chase, let's go.